Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Arizona Coyotes franchise mode here in NHL 22. So in last episode, we played the St. Louis Blues in the second round of the playoffs. It was like the first time we played them in like quite a long time. We did play them, I think, back in like the episode 20s, so 60 plus episodes ago. But anyways, we lost that series, unfortunately, in 5 games after we took out the Canucks in 5 games. So it kind of sucked, but it kind of made sense because that St. Louis Blues team was pretty damn deep. And yeah, unfortunately, we aren't going back to that Stanley Cup Finals or even the Conference Finals for that matter this season. But hopefully, we could still build around this team. This team does still have some very good players. The only problem I would say really with this roster is this offseason, we do have a couple big players up for renewal like Geekie and Shishkinov. Pretty much everybody else I hope I could get back as well, but the priority would probably be to get back the bigger players. And then also next off season, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, Michkov's contract ends at the end of next off season, so or at the end of next season. So we're gonna have to give him a lot of money, and I mean a lot of money, like probably like 15 million maybe. So we don't want to sign necessarily players to too much money and too much players to too much long-term contracts. Like for example, Shelley is up that exact same offseason. Shelley might be on his way out that season for sure because of the fact I'd say I'd rather keep Michkov around because Michkov's 1 year younger and definitely way better of a player. And we need to keep Agostino and Michkov together for the rest of their careers. But there's a good chance we lose Shelley next offseason. So this team is probably going to go through a few changes, but the team could still be competitive at least this upcoming season. And then who knows what happens once we start to lose some of these bigger type of guys. Like, is this team going to be as good or what? Like, I kind of hope that when Shelley's contract ends that he's at least a little bit of a lower overall, so then he kind of could ask for a cheaper contract, but his goal scoring ability might make him want still a lot of money. So but yeah, this team is definitely going to get expensive eventually. So at the guys that are up for renewal, we probably won't be assigning too long-term of deals to. Like, I would like to keep Geekie around for a few years just because he's a top-line center. We don't really have that. But Shishkinov, on the other hand, we might keep on just giving one-year deals to, while everybody else I would like to try and keep around as much as possible as well. But we might end up losing some of our depth, like Ustor, for example, or even Dalmo. So I really hope that we can keep this team together and as cheap as possible for the depth options and all that type of thing. So anyways, before we get into the draft and resign stage, I do have one comment to go over, and that's from Hawksfane88. He says, tough way to go out. Geekie and Shishkinov are definitely your focus in the resign stage. McGrath's asking price should go down if you qualify him, which is true. McGrath, at least he has RFA rights, because it's really weird that he played only one season in the NHL so far, and he's already trying to bum out, how much money was it? I think it was like 3 or 5 million or something like that. Let's see. How much was he asking for? Yeah, he was already trying to get $5 million after playing one season in the NHL. So we're definitely going to qualify him and see if we can get that drop, asking price to drop. But yeah, as for like I was saying before and what he was saying, Geekie is definitely a priority with this team. He is 33 years old, so we got to keep that in mind that he could be retiring in the next 3 seasons. So don't want to sign him too long term, because he is going to be on the drop off. Shishkinov also is only 29, but he is already like an 83. So I feel like Shishkinov also could be one of these guys that retire pretty decently young, like 33 years old. So yeah, we don't want to sign both these guys for too long term just because of the fact that Michkov ends next off season. So anyways, let's get into this draft and resign stage and see if we could keep this team together as much as possible and if we could add some good draft prospects in this year's draft as well. Do we have all of our picks? Because I don't honestly remember. It's been a while since I've recorded an episode for the series. Yeah, so we have a first rounder and a second rounder and a sixth and a seventh. So we don't have third, fourth, and a fifth. So this draft, we're not going to find too much, but at least we do have our first rounder, so we can find a prospect for our prospect pool. But yeah, we're probably not going to get a whole lot, which is unfortunate, but that's probably what is going to be the case, because if we're drafting at 28th, what is available at 28th before we take a look at the top 5 players in the draft? Let's see, 28th. Oh yeah, there was the enforcer. I forgot about that. Nobody actually agreed with me on this or said anything about this, but I might just honestly take this enforcer for the memes, because an enforcer defenseman sounds really fun. We don't know his potential, but this guy's very good physically, obviously, because he's an enforcer. Everything else he's really trash at. Yeah, he could use that size and strength. He's got mobility apparently, which is interesting. And he's a 6'3", 221-pound guy. So I think Sean Ferentz might be our pick just because we don't have that type of physical player on our team other than I think some of the guys throw hits, but I feel like Sean Ferentz would probably be the best physical player we've ever had on this roster. So I think it could be a fun player just to draft. So we might pick him up. But there is other options. Is there any guys that are really good? There's a gem in Korea. Korea might be good, but I have no idea on his ETA or anything. Like, Korea would probably be the best pick for this team in a sense, but I think I might go with the enforcer defenseman, even if there's a gem, just because I want to get an enforcer defenseman for this team, see what his potential is. Hopefully it's at least like top 4, but if it's like medium top 6, then that will definitely be a whiff of a pick. But anyways, let's see what this top 5 is of this draft. So Vegas, Dallas, Chicago, Colorado, and Montreal are your top 5. So let's see what Vegas takes with the first overall pick. I don't know if this is the first time they've ever had the first overall pick in this franchise mode, but let's see what they take. They're going to take Lowe, who's an 83 medium elite, playmaker, with a lot of X factors, which is really nice. Yeah, this guy's going to be pretty good. Definitely obviously got the good passing, good deking stuff as well, good skating. Yeah, this guy's going to be an interesting player to watch in Vegas for sure. Obviously, that's one of our rivals, I guess you could say, since we're in the same division, I think, right? No, actually, we're not in the same division because we're now in Central. I forgot about that. But still, Vegas and Arizona are really close together, so we could technically say that's on a rival team. But Dallas at number 2 is going to take Orr, who's an 83 power forward. Damn, so 2 83s. So who's going to become the better of these two players? I would say Orr probably because of the goal scoring. Yeah, probably Orr because of the goal scoring, but still, it's definitely a toss-up between the two of these guys. Either one of them could have won first overall. He's got crease crasher. Yeah, typical power forward going in close to the net. Kind of like a Brady Tkachuk, it looks like. Yeah, that's pretty good, but with way better shooting than probably Brady Tkachuk. So there is the first 2 picks. Chicago at number 3 is going to take Warner, who's an 80 overall 2-way forward, with a lot of X factors, but no zone ability. Yeah, that's kind of surprising that he has no zone ability with all those X factors. You think he would have one, but looks like a very solid 2-way forward for the future for the Chicago Blackhawks. Colorado at number 4 is going to take Landeskog. That's actually kind of cool. Colorado takes another Landeskog, Cali Landeskog, so this could be the son of Gabriel Landeskog, honestly. That's kind of cool. He's only got a high top 6 potential, but kind of cool to see another Landeskog go to the Colorado Avalanche. So, and Montreal at number 5 is going to take an 83 medium elite sniper. Are you kidding me? So these 3 teams, these 2 teams actually completely missed out on an 83 overall. So 3 83 overall medium elites in the same draft. This guy has no X factors though, so maybe that's why. But this guy's got almost as good shooting, or actually a little bit better shooting, I think, than that power forward that won second overall. So the Montreal Canadiens just got handed a gift right there in Torsten Dahl. Interesting. So those are the top 5 players in this year's draft. Let's sim over to our pick at 28, see if we could get that enforcer. I feel like he's going to be a top 6 defenseman if Deschamps was a top 6. Yeah, it's going to be either we're going to get a top 6 defenseman or a top 4 and get lucky. But I feel like since he's an enforcer, I feel like he's going to be a top 16. He's never going to pan out. But it's either that or we go with the sure thing in the gem. This guy has no ETA as well, which is kind of questionable. So it's saying that maybe he never would make it. I don't know. It's either that or we go with an actual for sure thing. But I feel like we already have enough. If this guy's a DFD, we have enough defensive defensemen. Like Nasir Korea would be pretty good. But just for the memes, I think I'm going to go with Sean Ferentz here. Just because I need physical players maybe for the team for the future. Because we don't have, like I said, a lot of those. So Sean Ferentz, I think, welcome to the Arizona Coyotes. Let's see how good you are. He is a top 60 enforcer, but 63 overall is pretty solid. I don't know if he's going to make it to the NHL, but you have solid defensive awareness, not really great shot blocking and stick checking. Not really a great player overall-wise. He's got good agility, which is interesting. And then those physical categories are obviously really good. 95 aggressiveness, 87 body checking, 85 durability, and 80 strength. So We'll see if this guy ends up making lineup in the next few seasons. Well, maybe we won't even be able to by the end of the NHL 22, but hopefully this guy can get into the NHL system or into the AHL system at least, so we can kind of see how many penalty minutes this guy takes. But there is our first round pick. Now on to our second round pick. Actually, I should take a look at how good that Korea guy was. Oh, there was a low elite defenseman that just went, damn. 61 overall, Daniel Pouliot to the Preds. But what about that Korea guy? Did that Korea guy go second round or first round still? Another low elite. Damn, we missed out on a couple low elites because of that pick. Novoseltsev was also low elite. Damn. Where is Korea? Oh, no, here he is. Korea was medium top 4. So yeah, we should have probably taken Korea. Yeah, we should have probably taken Korea, but he's a DFD, so I feel like we have a lot of those anyways, so it doesn't make really sense for us to add more of them. There is a chance that Mr. Jamie Fallon is low elite. I think I'm going to take him here. Yeah, I'm going to take him here, just because the rest of the players I honestly have no idea about. So, Jamie Fallon from Victoria, welcome aboard. And he is a 64 low top 6, so not low elite, but power forward at least, with some decent shooting actually out of the gate. He definitely needs to get his offensive awareness up, but pretty much all around a solid player, I'd say. So that's not a bad pick at all for a second rounder. And let's him to the 5th round, was it? Or 6th round. We're getting offered a 7th rounder and Emil Viro for our 6th rounder. No thank you. Emil Viro is not that great of a player, so we'd have to re-sign him right away anyways, I think. So with our 6th round pick, low top 9 and Verada maybe. 4-year ETA is not bad. Is there any guaranteed low elites at this spot or no? No, it doesn't look like it, damn. Sullivan, Latendresse, Rocan. Yeah, I don't know if this draft is going to be good for the rest of these last two picks. So we got, this guy's got no weakness. I kind of like that. He's also got work ethic and maturity. He's only 17, 5 years out. You know, we're going to take this guy. Even though he's not supposed to get drafted, we're going to take this dude. Since he's actually got the work ethic and stuff like that, makes me want to draft him. So, Radek Antonovich, welcome aboard from HC Cometa. He's a low elite grinder. Let's go. Okay. I kind of felt like it just based on the no weakness thing. But, yeah, he's not the greatest all around, but because he's only a 48. But at 17, he definitely has a chance to develop into being a bottom 6 grinder at some point. As long as he gets some good development throughout the year. That guy might be a future kind of guy like Ustorf if we get lucky. And our last pick of the draft at number 220, can we find any other low lead steals here? Or is this our draft basically? Cooper Franson, 4-year ETA maybe, but he's 20 years old. I might take him, but there is a Belgian guy, which I don't think I've ever drafted a Belgian before in a franchise mode. Jalen Carter. You know, we're going to take the Belgian for fun. Why not? Do one more meme pick. So, welcome aboard, Jalen Carter. He is a low elite as well. What the heck? Okay, that was a random guess. We've literally gotten 2 low elite grinders, and this one's actually a guy that looks like he could make it 60 overall. Damn. Interesting. So, we might have a Belgian 4th liner at some point. Imagine the 2 of those picks, those last 2 picks. Imagine them on the same, like, 4th line. Both are being grinders. So a little bit of a physical draft for us. Like Enforcer, we drafted 2 grinders, and then the other pick wasn't. But yeah, this team is adding some physicality to its element, which is maybe something we have lacked in the past, because I don't think there's literally anybody too physical on our roster. I know guys like Sasaki have X factors for hits and stuff like that, but never any like enforcers. And we have had a couple grinders, obviously like Ustorf and whatnot, but we've never really had a ton of them, I'd say. So yeah, that's a very interesting draft for us. So let's get to the resign stage now, because this is very important. We should try and get back our AHL coaches, I would assume, just because our AHL team has been good in the past. So we'll see if the AHL coach wants to come back. We'll just give them both contracts, why not? See if they'll accept that. And then we also got to get back some scouts. What a surprise. We only have 2 scouts to re-sign now. I'll sign them both up. If we have the budget to sign both of them back up, hopefully we do. And now we got to get into re-signing Geekie and stuff like that, which is going to be pretty tough. I hope he doesn't demand too much. We only have 35 million in cap space too. Yikes. Yeah, so we might be sacrificing some depth this year. Let's just go to RFAs and qualify. McGrath, Festerling. Filipula, does he want a two-way deal? Yeah, he does. I'll already assign him to that. What about Festerling? Does he want two-way? No, he does not. So we'll keep him qualified. And we'll also sign Lawrence since they want two-way deals, because that's easy enough for me. Low elite wise, I think we could sign Devereaux already, but he isn't AHL eligible. So I think I might have to wait on him on that front. But yeah, we have a lot of, like, if we sort this by potential, we got now 3 low elites, we got a couple low top 6s. Our prospect pool is still looking pretty solid, I'd say, at this point in the franchise mode. So there's all our RFAs dealt with. Let's go back to UFAs. And let's go to the bottom of this list and let go of some players that aren't going to make it. So this low leading Kreutzer was a 7th rounder sniper. He does have okay shooting, so we're going to sign this guy up even though I don't think he's ever going to make it. I want to keep some of these low elites like shoots as well. Kavanaugh, I think, though, is gone, unfortunately. 66 at 19 is not bad, but he's only got the low top 9 potential. He's got really good slap shot power and then slap shot accuracy, but that's pretty much it, so we'll let him walk. So best of luck, Kavanaugh. See if you sign anywhere. Probably not. Russo is also gone just because of the age. Mestre was a 2nd rounder, was he? 3rd rounder. Very good defensively, but terrible offensively. And really good shooting wise. Yeah, this guy's actually got really good shooting. Goddamn, for a playmaker. So I'm going to sign him up because that sounds kind of intriguing to me. And we'll also sign Lynch for sure, obviously, considering he was, I believe, our 1st round pick. Yeah, he was our 1st round pick, and he has a low elite potential. Bolig, even though he's a 69 at 22, I'm not going to sign him because we need to make sure we have enough. Actually, maybe I can re-sign him. Or should I go with Punos first? I should probably go with Punos first. Actually, let's let go Sims for the AHL and then bring in Bolig. Let's bring in a lot of young guys for the AHL team that we just drafted or recently. And we'll wait on some of these other AHL guys for now. Let's get Geekie first. So, $13 million is a lot of money. He could retire at 36, so I think I will give him a 1-year deal for now. I would give him a multi-year deal, but with Michkov being up for renewal next offseason, I don't want him to be signed too long-term. So, 1 year at 13 should be good for me if he wants to accept that. Yeah, let's do 1 year at 13. And we'll also give a 1-year deal to, actually, that's a good contract, I'd say, for Shishkinov, but he could be on the drop-off. Yeah, he could be on the drop-off. Let's do a 1 year at $8 million for Shishkinov, because I would like to keep both those guys around, which means we are probably going to end up losing somebody huge. I am going to let go of Jas already, who we traded for, just because I know for a fact he's going to be, too expensive. $6 million is not what I'm going to give him, so best of luck, Jas, in free agency. Spalling, I'd like to keep around for that 4th line, but he's demanding $3 million. I should probably wait on that. Let's sign Apple to a contract. I'll try and sign Bykov to a 2-way contract as well. Actually, maybe I'll let Bykov walk. Maybe not. I'd like to keep Ariel Ortmeyer around just because he's been an AHL legend for this team. And Osgood too. Forobev, I'm going to let go of because I'm going to let go of a couple of these veteran type of guys in the AHL to make room for some of the younger guys. And then Bykov, do I want to keep him around? We might be able to get mostly everybody back if these kind of guys don't want too much, but Damo asking for 3.3 is a bit expensive. I mean, he's not a bad player. He was a really good depth option. Then he played his first full season with us and had 39 points, mostly assist-wise. Yeah, he's a pretty solid player. I don't know if he's worth that money, though. Some question. What is Ustorf wanting? $2 million. Okay, Ustorf we're going to sign because he's a good 4th liner for now. Maybe I'll keep Spalling on a 1-year deal as well. I don't know if I could afford all these guys back. Who do we have for goalies? Just Galiev. Oh, yeah, Galiev's probably gone. Yeah, I think Galiev's gone, unfortunately. Just because of the fact that we have Donovan as their backup now, potentially. We wouldn't have any goalies in the AHL is the only problem. So maybe I could keep Galiev on a 1-year deal and play him in the AHL so we have at least more depth. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to keep Galiev around. See if I could get him for under $1 million. That's still a cheap contract, so let's advance today to see if we get all those guys back. And then, yeah, we might run into some cap problems. Looks like some of the AHL coaches were rejecting, but whatever. Let's go through this quickly, see who accepted and rejected. Okay, Geekie is still up for renewal, but Galiev did accept, which is interesting. Those guys are still qualified. That's good. Okay, so Geekie, I want you on a 1-year deal. I will give you a little bit more than you're asking for. 1 year at 13.2, but we need to keep you around. We'd be down to 13 million in cap space to get back pretty much Demo and Spalling, and then the RFAs should be cheaper eventually. 13 million. Yeah, we might be able to get them all back, to be honest. I'm going to give more on a 2-way deal, so he actually accepts that, because he might be depth again this season. And then Baikov, let's just give you a little bit more on the 2-way deal. But yeah, I think I could be able to actually afford all these guys back. But let's get Geekie to accept first, so then I actually know how much cap space I have. So let's advance the day again. Looks like he accepted. Yep, he accepted. Okay, perfect. So we got 13.825 for 2 RFAs and 2 forwards. I think we can get all of these guys back. Do we need all these guys back? Probably not, but we could trade away some of them in next episode. So I am going to keep all these guys around for now. Let's just give Demo what he's asking for. And we'll give also Spalling a little bit less. There you go, 3.3 for both of them. And then yeah, these 2 guys should be relatively cheap. But let's advance today, see if we get both of those guys back. After these scouts accept, yep, there you go. 9.125 to get back 2 RFAs and maybe sign some free agents. I think that's pretty good. We might have to make some trades to get rid of some players to make room for younger guys if there's younger guys coming up. But I think our team is pretty much ready to go almost. We did let go of Jath, so our defensive core is going to be a bit weaker, so we might have to make some changes. But right now, we have 3 goalies that are NHL ready. We could play Galiev in the AHL, that's why I re-signed him. But Donovan, I think, should be our backup this upcoming season, so I feel like Galiev, if we wanted to, we could trade him away, but I want to keep him in the AHL, so that way if we have any injury troubles or a goalie isn't assimilating well, at least we have a 3rd-string goalie to bring in. Defensively, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's it. Oh wait, actually yeah, 6 and 7 as well, because Festerling's not actually a 75, it's just morale. But defensively we might be fine, because I mean actually we could add actually McGrath is a top 4, so I think we don't need to add to our defensive core right away. But if we wanted to, we could make a trade to upgrade that defensive core, like maybe trade away McGrath's rights. We don't have to do that, but yeah, that's our defensive core right now. Right wing wise, we do have Kagurov, Shelley, Yoshimura, and Ustorf. So 4 right wingers. That's perfect. Shelley's probably going to be on the 3rd line again this season. And then Yoshimura probably in the top 6. Kagurov definitely in the top line, I'd say. Or 2nd line, actually, because Michkov. Left wing wise, we got Agostino, Shishkinov. Wait. Did I miss Michkov? Oh, there's Michkov. Okay, I was like, wait a second. We actually have 5 right wingers. God damn. So Shishkinov and McIntyre. So we got 2 of those guys there. So 7 forwards. And yeah, we have a lot of centers as well. Interesting. With McElhaney jumping up maybe potentially as well. Yeah, McElhaney could play in the NHL honestly this season. He's got decent enough stats to play there. But yeah, we have a lot of players on this roster. So we could honestly trade somebody away if we want to. 3, 6, 9, and 12. We might have enough forwards, to be honest, and enough defensemen that once the RFAs accept that we don't need to bring anybody in. We definitely have more than enough in terms of goaltending. So there is that. Let's take a quick look at what is available free agency wise, and then that will be probably it for this episode. We'll also take a look at the trading block just in case you guys want me to make some trades, but this team could go through some changes this offseason, but I think in general our roster is still pretty much set in stone. So let's take a look at those available free agents, see if there's anything that would definitely help us out a bit. So goalie wise, we don't definitely need to sign any goalies, but I will show you the goalies anyways. Our former goaltender Nicholas Hornquist is a free agent. Former 7th round pick Hornquist. Interesting. Not that we're going to bring back a goalie. But yeah, we don't really need goaltending, so this is probably our least concern, so I'll just scroll through this a little bit. Wallsted's also there. That's interesting. So there's goaltenders. Defensively, we could always upgrade our defensive situation if we want to, because technically McGrath is a little bit of a weaker top 4, but he could still develop. But there is guys like Jamie Drysdale there. There is also Ilya Fedorov of the former New Jersey Devils. He's a pretty solid player. Wants a lot of money though, which we don't really have unless we freed up cap space. Also, Tukinen is back in free agency after we dealt him to Colorado a few years ago. He actually did have a couple good years in Colorado, but 6.2, I don't know. So there you go. Also, Willander. There's not really a whole lot out there for defensemen, it looks like, that are legit top fours. So we might honestly just run McGrath on the top four. This is one team's interested in him. Oh, it's just us. Okay, good. Wasn't sure if it was another team for some reason. But yeah, there was no way I was going to bring back Jas at that asking price. There is a team interested in him, which is interesting. But I would never pay $6 million to an 80. Especially a guy that just came into the team, right? Zach Kordichuk is also back in free agency, so apparently Dallas didn't utilize him that well. They actually did play him in the minors. But he's a 25-year-old UFA now. So there is that. And that is it for defenders pretty much. A lot of depth options as well. If we want to bring in a depth defenseman, we could do that. But yeah, in general, there's not really a whole lot out there for good defenders, it seems like. In terms of right wingers, the best is Biega. We don't really need right wingers though, because we got our right wingers already with a lot of good players. Michkov, Kagorodov, and Shelley especially. Also, Ustorf's pretty solid for a fourth line option. So yeah, I don't think we need any right wingers. Andrei Svechnikov is still playing. That's kind of crazy at his age. But there is depth options if we want to sign depth options. But I don't think we really need depth forwards because we do got Appleby. And we also do got Bykov back. So left wing wise, Bergenheim's the best available. Ferentz, Jensen. Zadina is still in free agency, only wanting $9.25 because I think he was a free agent the entire season. Yeah, there's a decent amount of options out there if we wanted to bring in somebody, but no huge studs. There's a 24-year-old low elite potential player that is a UFA in Turner, Malik Turner, who could be a good solid bottom six option. He had a really good season in the AHL last season. In his first NHL season, he was more of a defensive player on the bottom six, it looks like. But, that's interesting. If this guy gets utilized well, he could end up being a good goal scorer. He's got good stats. His offensive awareness is a bit low, though. So that's maybe why he's not scoring as much. But still a solid player. Former player Nisimov is there as well. Interesting. And then in terms of centerman, the best is Robida. Damn, this guy's a really good center. We technically could have let go of Geekie, to be honest, and then brought in this guy. And this guy could have probably done better than Geekie, but I don't think I want to pay 13.9 for 7 years, especially when we do have Michkov up for renewal next offseason. But Tim Stützle is there. John Farinacci, our former player, is there as well. Yeah, there is definitely some good options out there if we do want to upgrade this team in terms of center depth or anything. Like I said, we could trade away some players on our roster to kind of retool our lineup if we really want to, but I don't think we have to. So there is the available free agents. Finally, let's take a look at the draft class, and I think that's pretty much it, if I'm not mistaken. Where is this draft class thing again? Oh, not the draft class. It's not the draft class. I want to take a look at the trading block. God damn. I don't know why I said draft class. Okay, so there shouldn't be probably a whole lot out there, but who knows. So a couple defenders in Matejchuk, Luneau, and Tamara. He's a 29-year-old defenseman. Nothing really in Buffalo, nothing in Calgary. Not really seeing a whole lot out there. Mostly just picks and prospects. Breland there on a 1-year deal. That would definitely upgrade our defensive core, but he's a defensive defenseman, so it's like, do we want to bring that guy in? Since he's on a 1-year deal, it wouldn't be bad, but we would probably have to give up a decent amount. Like, his value is decently high, but it would be an upgrade over probably McGrath, but I don't think we need to technically do that. We can if we want to. Detroit, there's nothing really. Yeah, there's not a whole lot on the block this off-season. Mostly defenders, though. Edvidson on 1 year left. Still an 84. Does fit our top pairing, apparently. He might not be that bad, but he's not as offensively minded as it looks. 19 points last season. Mo Sider's also there on 2 years, though, which I don't like. Goalie in Berkowitz, who's a 23-year-old medium elite. Interesting. Not that we need more goalies, but still. Minnesota's getting also rid of another one in Estrada. Nashville, Henderson is a center, but 4 years left. If this guy was on a 1-year deal, that would be a solid like third line option, but this guy is signed way too long term and for too much. Same with Climby, he's signed for a bit too much as well. Nothing really there in New Jersey or the Islanders. Brandon Yeager, but on 4 years left at 11. No thank you. If that was 1 year, maybe. What else we got here? Nothing there in San Jose. Voros, 4 years at 8.245 for a top 6 defenseman. Jeez. Yeah, some of these contracts are pretty terrible, so I don't think I would bring in any of these guys. Brian Clark as well, signed for 12 million or almost 13 million. No thank you. Tanabe on 1 year left isn't bad, but he's more of a fourth line option. I don't think we really need more fourth liners. Bolduc signed for a couple years. Baudin on 1 year, that's not a bad depth option. And LaBelle signed on a 1 year deal. That's not bad either. This guy might be actually a really good bottom 6 type of player. I mean, he's got 96 offensive awareness, but he's a defensive forward mostly, so very good defensive stats for this guy. Like, if we wanted to find a really good defensive bottom 6er, this guy would be the perfect option. He does take a lot of penalties, it looks like, but he was playing in the AHL last season, which is kind of weird. But he might be a good defensive option for that bottom 6 if we wanted to trade away somebody on our bottom 6 to kind of make it a little bit more defensively minded. Tampa Bay, not really a whole lot of anything. Toronto's got Byfield, our former player, but still signed for a few years. Weirkosh there, signed for a few years. And Nick Robertson as well. Nothing in Vegas, nothing in Washington, and Vesey, actually not VC. Or is it pronounced VC? I don't even remember. It might be VC. 83 overall, 2 years left though. Cope on 2 years left. Hasn't bad contracts because they're only for 2 years, but still. Zari on 1 year, but he's probably close to dropping off. And that's pretty much it. That's on the trading block wise. So I don't really know if there's anything we want to trade for or sign in terms of free agency, but our roster I think is almost pretty much set once those RFAs accept, because then we technically have our defensive core set in stone. And then our forward core is definitely still really good at the moment, so I don't think it needs to have any upgrades, because Filppula could be honestly a fourth line center. Spalling's probably our fourth line center though. And then Appleby would be depth. Bykov back in the AHL. I would like to play McElhinney at some point, but I don't think there's any way I could slot him into this type of roster, unfortunately, at the moment. But in general, I think our team is going to probably have another solid season ahead, and hopefully Korea could do better in the playoffs than he did last year. I don't know who we also want to start as a backup. That's another question I got to pose to you guys. Would you start Galiev or the medium elite guy in Jeff Donovan, who looks like he's definitely ready to be that NHL backup goalie? Like, he's listed as a backup goalie, so I think Donovan should get his shot this year, and then Galiev could be our third string goalie back in the minors. That's the reason why I kept him around, just for another year at least. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of Arizona Coyotes franchise mode. So next episode, we will take it to free agency, and we'll start up the season simulation. We'll probably simulate 41 games and see how this team does, and hopefully we get off to a good start again next season, and hopefully, even though we just came off a 61-win season, hopefully we could at least win a Stanley Cup or get to the playoffs farther than the playoffs than the second round than we did this season, because I like to win games in the regular season, sure, but I would rather win games and then win more games in the playoffs, not just be like a second round exit. So hopefully this team turns around next season. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.